This is Ryan Elliott for Boxing Social in association with Betfred. I'm delighted to be joined by promoter/manager Steve Goodwin and Southern Area middleweight champion Brad Pauls. Before we get down to boxing talk, guys, how are we?
All good.
Thank you.
I'm down in Cornwall for weeks. Down in Cornwall for a week's holiday, so chilling out. Obviously, got bored the other night, and we decided to, between myself and Brad, to hash up something to really come out with and hopefully sort of stir the world of boxing up a bit and expose some people for what they are. So it's sort of it's enriched my holiday experience.
That's good to hear, Steve. You said you wanted to make a bit of a stir. You certainly did that. Boxing Twitter went crazy. You put out a £100,000 offer, Idris Virgo, for those that didn't see it. If he could beat your man here, Brad Pauls. You said you would put it on Channel 5. Talk me through where this stemmed from. This has turned a lot of heads, this offer.
Right. So, well, the actual offer is going to be increased today, because we want to expose this coward for what he is. We want him to show the world of boxing that he's a real man and not some little playground bully that likes to bully those who can't fight back, because that's all he loves to seem to want to do. So it was really the fact that Curtis Gargano, who's a friend of mine, was in the corner with his Scott Williams when all this nonsense happened, where he basically took the piss out of a guy who's 0-7 and there to lose. And I know Curtis was really upset by it. And we thought, well, look, this guy is professing that he's going to beat everybody, and he's saying that, he can beat this one and beat that one, and he's got his own journey. So I thought, well, okay, then. I don't believe this. I don't think you're very good. I think you're average, if at best. I think he's a moderate boxer. He's a failed Love Island contestant. Remember, this is a man that went on Love Island and couldn't pull a bird. He wasn't even any good enough for that. If I'd sent Brad into Love Island, he'd had flocks of birds after him. There's a difference. He wouldn't have even won that battle. In the ring, he'd get beaten again by Brad. It wouldn't matter which way he wants to approach it. He can't win any battle. So we thought, well, look, this guy needs to be exposed. Now, the only way of exposing him is to actually offer him enough money where he can't run away and become a coward. Well, he can become a coward, but everybody's going to know what he is. So we decided, how much money would it be that would be life-changing for him? Well, he doesn't earn a lot of money. I know people that know him. He's not rich or loaded. He didn't make a lot of money out of Love Island, because I say he didn't pull anybody. So he came out of Love Island very quickly. So, the point is, obviously, Ultimate Boxer got behind him. They want these freak celebrities, to do it. But we have got a freak celebrity here, somebody who can't fight. He can't really box. He's moderate at best. He'd lose to many journeymen. That's why he fights those that can't even win a fight. His last 4 of his 8 opponents have never won a fight. So we got to the stage where we thought, look, let's give him a chance to show he is actually a man, and he's a man of his word, and he will back up the bullshit that he comes up with. So let's give him enough incentive to do that. So Brad will fight for a normal purse, whether it be on our show or Hennessy's show. But I will give Idris Virgo £100,000 if he is able to beat Brad Pauls over 6 rounds or more. But just to give him, because obviously that's not enough. It hasn't seemed to have inspired him enough to have the balls to fight. But he's saying that Brad would be easy work and he'd knock him out. So I'm going to give him another $25,000 if he's able to knock Brad out. So he gets $100,000 for winning, another £25,000 bonus for knocking Brad out. What excuse has he got other than the fact he's a coward? Now, the second thing that he came up with, and the first objective was, why should I should put it on my show, I should spend the money and whatever nonsense it is. So I'm making him 2 options. It will be going to his manager. We'll do it on Channel 5. Alternatively, he doesn't want to be embarrassed on Channel 5 and he wants to be embarrassed on another platform. We'll stage the fight. We'll give him a basic purse, similar to what he's getting on Channel 5. And then we'll give him the bonus, up to 100,000, up to 125,000. So he can have it wherever he wants, on whatever show he wants. He hasn't got to worry. He's just got to turn up, put the gloves on, come in the ring, get knocked out, get picked up off the canvas, go back to his dressing room, eat some humble pie, and learn what humility is all about and what levels in boxing are all about, because he's down the bottom level and Brad's at the top level.
Steve, I know this isn't a gimmick. I know you're serious about this. You've even shown me the proof of funds before we did this interview, just so you could show me just how serious you are. You've said there's no reason for him to not take this, and you've even put that extra incentive there. Do you think he will, though?
No, because I think he's a coward. I think the man is a coward. He's a bully. He's a sort of person out there who'll be beating his women up at home, or beating up or when he's 16 in the school playground, beating up the 10-year-olds. And he won't pick on the 17-year-olds because they'll clump him back. So not to have 1 second he's ever beaten up people like that, but that's the sort of mentality that he has. He wants to bully those who can't do anything about it. Let him throw some water in Brad's face, because Brad will hit him with an extra uppercut, and instead of knocking him to the floor, he'll punish him for a bit longer. So he can come to that ring, and Brad will just punish him and finish him when he wants to be finished. He will get knocked out, clean, cold out, because he is average, and Brad is a superstar.
Brad, just to bring you into this, you and I were speaking just before Steve joined. I said, how much notice did you have that this offer was going out that was going to start stirring up the boxing world? And you said to me, only a few minutes. What's your reaction when you realise this is going out?
It was a good reaction. Obviously, this year's been a bit slow, and this has got my attention very fast. I didn't need a lot of notice because me and Steve think alike. He thinks I'll knock him out, and I think I'll knock him out. So we didn't really need to speak about it. It was already foregone conclusion. So yeah, I'm just excited, and it's a great opportunity to serve up some justice for someone who's been disrespectful and deserves to be punished for it.
There was a video that went around online of, Steve, you alluded to it, Idris throwing water in the face of a man who was 0-7. Idris was a heavy favourite going into that fight. Brad, when you saw that video circulating, what was your first thoughts when you saw it?
I was quite angry. Like, Ryan, you've been around boxing for a while, like, you understand. You don't do them things in boxing. Like, everyone knows why he's there. And fair play to the guy. Took it well, didn't react. But like Steve said, it was just bullying. And doing that to someone, no disrespect, a record like that is just bullying. And that's now let him try do it with someone like me, because it'd be a lot different, and I don't think he's got the balls to do it. So I feel like everyone in the boxing community seen what he did, and they're all dying for him to be humbled. And I'm happy to be the guy that humbles him.
When you've got someone like Steve, who's got the reputation of one of boxing straight shooters and one of boxing good guys, and he's got that much belief in you that he tells you at the last minute, I'm going to make this guy an offer of £100,000 if he can beat you. What does that do for you, knowing that someone backing you has that kind of belief in you as well?
Yeah, it's good. Obviously, I was confident anyway, but it makes sense. Like, Steve's been around me since the start of my pro career. He knew some of the stuff I did as an amateur. So Steve knows exactly what he's doing. He's a smart businessman. He wouldn't put that money up if it was risky. Steve's smart. He's good with money. He wouldn't do it. So he knows that his money's very, very safe, and it is very, very safe. So it's a little confidence booster, and yeah, it's good business.
Steve, what's the next step from here then? You've said you're willing to put the £25,000 bonus up. You said you're willing to stage a fight, willing to take it over to Hennessy. Where do we go from here?
Well, I'm going to put this formally in writing to his manager, John Pegg, who I do wish to say I have the utmost respect for his manager. John Pegg is one of boxing's great guys, looks after a lot of journeymen himself. And I know he wouldn't, whatever he has to say publicly, he would not have been impressed by Idris's behaviour against the journeyman, because John treats journeymen with a lot of respect. But I will be putting it in writing to John, and I will be saying, we'll do it on a Channel 5 show if you wish. We're happy to do it there. We're happy also to do it on our show, and we'll put a show up and we'll headline it with the two of them fighting. We will do that, and we'll have an undercard to that. We will offer these bonus. We will offer these guarantees. They will be backed by lawyers holding the funds the day before. The bottom line is, Idris Virgo can keep writing all this shit that he's writing, all the bullshit that he's writing, all the excuses. But the bottom line is, we're going to make the offer in writing to him to do it on our show, because we can't make an offer, obviously, for him to fight on Channel 5. That offer would have to come from Mick Hennessy. But we will offer the guarantee if that fight is made. However, I will offer the fight to John Pegg, and we will confirm the terms in writing, exactly as I've said it. Then we have to see whether Idris Virgo is actually a coward, or whether he's a fighting man. Well, I believe he's a coward. I believe he will carry on and want to fight these, like the bully boy at school. He'll keep wanting to fight these journeymen who have got no chance and are turning up deliberately to lose, and keep doing this on Channel 5. But he's a fraud. He's a cartoon character. He's not a professional boxer. He's an imposter to the industry. He needs to be eliminated and taught a lesson. I'm putting the money up. There is no excuse. if he's a coward, just admit he's a coward. Go back, fight his little journeyman fighters, but stop disrespecting them and admit you're just an average fighter, just as you were an average contestant on Love Island.
Now, Steve, in terms of Brad, he's been touted by many as a sort of dark horse in the middleweight division on the domestic scene. How hard is it to get these these guys to fight, oh man? I mean, you've made one guy £100,000 offer. How difficult is it to get them in the ring?
It's not too difficult. Brad was actually going to fight in Plymouth in a final eliminator for the English title. The thing that's held Brad back slightly is just that I've got two fighters in the same gym, Linus and Brad, who are best of friends. So they're fighting in the same weight category and they're both British title level. So I have to bring, and it's just been that Brad was injured for a time and Linus went through. It could have been the other way, that Brad would have been the English champion now and Linus would have been behind. But Brad was injured at the time when Linus built through. So he's had to sit behind Linus. He knows that, but the two of them are best friends. So they know what's going on. So it's not difficult. Brad will be delivered there and both of them will be British level and hopefully beyond. So it's not particularly difficult. That Brad's career has been managed perfectly. Just unfortunate that he had a bit of an injury during a period of his career when we were building up momentum. But if Idris Virgo doesn't want the fight, and I don't think he is, because as I say, I think he's a coward and a bully, but that's fine because Brad's career will flourish next year with or without Idris Virgo. But Idris Virgo has to be exposed for what he is, the fraud and the coward. Brad Pauls is a fighting man and a proper fighter. And that's why Idris Virgo will not fight a proper fighter like Brad.
Now, guys, I just wanted to get your thoughts on a couple of things before I let you go. I do appreciate your time. Another middleweight fight this weekend, Brad, I wanted to get your thoughts on. We've got Denzel Bentley and Mark Heffron, a brilliant domestic middleweight fight. How do you see that fight playing out? What do you make of it?
I think it is a proper 50-50 fight. I'll be keeping a close eye on it because that's where I'm heading. It is a good fight, isn't it? I think Heffron late stoppage. I watched Denzel's last fight, and that's my gut feeling. So it'll be a great fight while it lasts. Got two power punchers, but Heffron late stoppage and maybe a future opponent. So yeah, good fight.
Steve, I'm sure like Brad, you'll be keeping an eye as a possible future opponent for Brad. What do you make of the fight? Who do you expect to win?
Well, I've watched both of the fighters. I've watched all their fights. I've got respect for both of them. And I want to say, we've been talking about people that are cowardly and don't want to take fights on this video. These two deserve the ultimate credit, like 99% of boxers do, for respectfulness, for the fact that they let their fists do the talking and they cut and they will go into a fight like this. Both of them, I've taken my hats off to both of them. I wish them both the best. They're both great fighters and top level domestically. I think Heffron has that bit more experience to win the fight. I don't think Denzel has been tested enough yet to fight Heffron. I think Mark Heffron wins with a second half stoppage, very similar to Brad. But you know what? We could both be wrong. And both fighters, I have utmost respect for them.
And Steve, one other thing I want to get your thoughts on. Over to Russia this week, Umar Sadiq is going out there to face Fedor Chudinov. What do you make of that? And what do you make of Umar's chances out there as well? Big fight for him.
Another fighter, Umar Sadiq fought on a Goodwin show. I've dealt with Umar on a few occasions. Again, Umar is a proper fighter, a proper fighting man. One of these fighters that deserves every single credit in the world. I hope he wins. I think he's up against it in Russia. We know how hard it is to win over there. I think Chudinov probably wins, but I'm praying and hoping that Umar does it.
Before I let you guys go, I'm going to start with you, Brad. There's going to be a lot of heads turned even more after these videos surface and people see the upped offer. Brad, if you could leave a final message to Idris Virgo, what would you say to him?
Yeah, Idris, you've got nowhere to hide. There's too much money to say no to this fight. You have no option but to take the fight. And if for any reason the fight doesn't happen, it's solely because you're a coward. So the most money you've ever made in your whole entire life in one fight, 125,000. Let's go. Let's find out what you're made of.
And Steve, I'll leave the final comment to yourself.
We're going to find out whether Idris Virgo is a fighting man or a fraud and a coward. I believe he's a fraud and a coward.
All right, guys, thank you so much for taking the time to speak to Boxing Social. It's going to get interesting the next couple of days. I'm sure we'll catch you when we've got some developments as well, but thank you for your time.
Cheers.
Nice.
Thanks.
Cheers, mate. Thank you.